to Maple Grove High School as the state Class 6A football playoffs get started here tonight. It's the Minnetonka Skippers paying a visit here to the Crimson. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Joe Basil, and Allie Mosley will join us from the sideline as well. And Joe, it's been kind of interesting season really for both of these teams. It's starting with the Minnetonka 0-8 record, not something that's happened much for them. Dave Nelson, the legendary coach for their program, said the last time or only time he had a winless season was his very first year as a coach at Blaine back in the mid-'80s. But on the flip side of things, you look and they have had a lot of close games. It seems as though they're still sticking with it, and it would be huge if they could come up with an upset tonight.
Well, the great thing about this, Jay, is that it's the beginning of the second season. It's the second season now, and you put all that behind you. And as you said, Minnetonka's had some close games. I know they played I think they lost to Mounds View, a very, very tough team. Last play of the game, 17-16. They've had a couple of those, and they could be dangerous. They can be a dangerous team tonight for Maple Grove.
And for Maple Grove, a lot of close games for them, too. A couple that they feel like got away. A 4-4 season, not bad, maybe not quite as good as they had hoped it could be, but they're a team that's pretty solid night in, night out. They can play with just about anybody. I think one of their big keys is if they can limit turnovers and not give Minnetonka a short field, it would go a long way toward a victory for them.
That's right. Full disclosure, 2 years ago I was on this sideline coaching for Maple Grove. So particularly the sophomores then are seniors now. And I think Colombo had mentioned, Coach Lombardi mentioned that they'll start 4 or 5 sophomores this evening, as a matter of fact. But yeah, as in most games, if you can limit turnovers, you go a long way to securing your victory.
Defensively, they've been pretty solid, and offensively have gotten some things going at times, and at other times have been a little bit of a struggle. Minnetonka, I think, could say the same thing. Let's talk about key players to look at in tonight's game. First of all, for the Skippers, guy who's been now starting on both sides of the ball. They've had some injury trouble, and Elliot Ishii going to start at fullback, but also has done a really nice job as a linebacker for them.
Right. And, you know, the great thing about Minnetonka, first of all, as you said, Coach Nelson, legendary coach, his defensive coordinator is Greg Clough, who's been with him a number of years. And Elliot Ishii has been a real step-up star for them. And I'm sure Coach Clough will put him in a situation where he can be successful.
And for Maple Grove, a guy who plays a position that sometimes can be a thankless job, and they're kind of clogging up the middle on defense. Joe Bulow, though, he's had a nice year. He's a lively personality in this program, and they like the things he can do for them. I've
known Joe Bulow since he was a sophomore. We took him down to Brookings at a camp that we did down there. As you said, outstanding person, great personality. Actually, you can plug and play Joe just about anywhere. There were times when we actually ran him at fullback in his younger days. But mostly he's been a defensive player, but he can also play some O-line if he has to.
All right, weather's holding out pretty nicely for this playoff opener here. Two storied programs that have had not the greatest of years, but an opportunity to get things started in the right direction here in the playoffs tonight. It's the Minnetonka Skippers, the Maple Grove Crimson, and it's up next on CCX.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You also have access to a large on-demand library, newscasts, and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Welcome back here to Maple Grove, getting set for kickoff here tonight between the Crimson and the Minnetonka Skippers as you see how the teams enter the field. And joining us on the sideline tonight is Allie Mosley. Let's go down to Allie.
On a night where you're playing a team that's 0-8, it might seem like a layup, but this is playoff football where anything can happen. Now, in talking to Coach Lombo before the game, he said, you know what, we actually have pretty good success with playoff football. But at this point in the season, it's about what's between the ears. It's not just about being physical anymore. He says, and tonight we cannot be careless and make mistakes because despite Tonka's 0-8 record, he said they've been in every game so far this year. He says we've got to be all over their young quarterback. We have to stop the run and we have to stifle their threats. If we can do that, we'll have continued success in playoff football, guys.
Thanks very much. Kick returned there on a bounce for the Skippers by Ben Tolkinen, so they will start with it at the 26-yard line, first down and 10, as the sophomore quarterback, really the third quarterback that's played for them this year, two of them 10th graders, Joe Gendro. You see he has had some part-time duty and had, a mixed bag of success, at times successful, at other times not as much as, that they would like. That's kind of true of their team overall.
Tonka starting in the pistol. Little delay there.
First down handoff and pretty well defended by the Crimson, getting over there to make the stop. Aaron Tollefson in on the tackle as Tolkinen took the handoff and will be held to a gain of about 2. So 2nd and 8 coming up here for Minnetonka.
And as we talked with Coach Nelson before the game, Jay, I think obviously both teams want to get off to a fast start, but I think it's really, really important that Tonka get off to a fast start.
Pass out in the flat is incomplete as he looked for Jackson Iverson, the junior receiver there, and Gendro's pass not quite on target as you can look at the starters for Minnetonka. And Coach Nelson, obviously it's not the kind of season that he's been accustomed to throughout his career and his staff, and but he said that the kids have still continued to work hard and they still want to be here and everything, which, let's face it, in football that is not always the case when you get to the playoffs after a tough regular season.
No, it isn't. Now they're facing 3rd and long. See what they dial up here.
Gendro looking over the middle, and it is complete. Nice throw there to another talented sophomore, Tyler Lean, and he will make the grab for the first down as they'll pick up about 10.
That's really, really big, as I said earlier, big for Minnetonka. I think even if Minnetonka doesn't score on this first drive, Jay, I think it's really important that they get a couple first downs, get themselves settled in here as they're playing on the road.
Football at the 43 now. And here's Ishii running very hard straight ahead. He was not shying away from contact there by any means, and brought down for the Crimson Joe Schmidt in on the tackle.
And you had mentioned Ishii before the game, goes both ways. Possibly a special teams guy as well. Maybe doesn't come off the field. And nice gain there.
Picks up 8 on that play to push the Skippers into Crimson territory just at the 49-yard line. Going to come back to Ishii here, and a big gap to run through there. And it'll be another first down for Minnetonka. Tackle made there by Jake Johnson.
Yeah, just basically kind of big on big blocking here, gap scheme, if you will. And going back to Ishii again and moving the chains.
Well blocked on that left side too, boy. When you can, and Maple Grove's going to use a timeout, and Matt Lombardi, we've seen this over the years, he does not hesitate to call a timeout if something's going poorly, doesn't like the effort or the execution he's seeing early in a game. That even goes back to his days with Wayzata when he was a defensive coordinator over there, and he's not waiting around to give them an earful when they come off the field. He wants to make sure that he lets them know about it right now.
No, you're exactly right. Lombo will do that. I remember when we were at Edina, we came out in kind of a different set in the playoffs against his Wayzata team, and kind of came out with 2 tight ends and an H-back, and he had never seen that before, and boom, he called timeout right away and got his defense at Wayzata squared away.
So look at what Coach Lombardi has done, and he said, last week he gave Champlain Park a short field to work with enough times. He said it's tough to win a football game that way, so that's kind of their biggest key really, is to make the other team have to go some distance anyway. He feels good about what his defense can do in that spot. From the 39 now, Minnetonka moving the ball nicely on their first possession.
They show a 2 tight end set here, Jay.
Gendro's going to hand it off. Tolkien has some room to run at the edge. Bounces off a tackler and keeps on driving down to about the 30. He'll be short of the first down, but not by a whole lot. These teams did not meet in the regular season as Maple Grove was switched into the North sub-district. They had been playing the Skippers regularly since the switch to district football, but not this season, of course.
Pretty nice job by Jackson Iverson there on the edge too, Jay. Stock blocking to get the running back from Minnetonka some extra yards right on the edge.
2nd and 1. They'll go with the toss back to Tolkinen. That time pretty well defended, although it's still going to be close to the first down. So you got to look at the starting unit for the Crimson, and it looks as though they are going to be just shy of the first down.
Usually the calling card for Matt Lombardi's defenses, Jay, is speed. Usually, if you're gonna make money against a Matt Lombardi defense, you're gonna pretty much run right at them. If you go east-west, they're gonna run you down.
Gendro handing off to Ishii, and he will pick up the first down. A couple of kind of varying running backs a little bit. Ishii is 6'1", 205, and then you've got Tolkien much smaller at 5'7", 170. They give you a little bit different thing, each of them.
A little Mr. Inside, a little Mr. Outside. And Coach Nelson did mention that you had asked him what he liked about his season, and and sometimes with an 0-8 season, there's not a lot that you like about it. But he did say that he thought his run game, was pretty fair from time to time.
Back to Tolkien, and they'll go. This time stacked up nicely by the Crimson. They'll hold them to a couple. There's a look at Dave Nelson, and he still keep pretty upbeat and a good attitude, but at the same time, it's not been an easy season for them, and losing quite a few guys to injuries too. But it does, like we were talking about, it does say something to me about both their coaches and their players, that they've still managed to have close games at the end of the season where, when you're in a program where you're kind of expecting to win more than what's happening, it's easy to kind of pack it in. As you look there, unfortunately, as Jackson Gadarian, their junior linebacker, being helped off holding his arm there. But, this sport probably as much or more than any, if it's going to show up on the field if you're not fully committed and you don't still have the fire and the desire, and it doesn't look like that's been the case for them.
Not at all. And like we said, and I think that starts with Coach Nelson and his staff. They've been together a long time. They have a great culture out there. Obviously, it's been an atypical season for them, but kudos to them.
Tolkien takes the handoff here and squeezes through the middle, and he almost got even more out of that. Nice job to wrap him up there in the open field tackle by Gibson, or that one had a chance to go even more. It was a nice gainer as is.
Yeah, and I think we got to mention Tonka's O-line at this point too. I think they were running power. They ran actually a counter that time. They pulled the backside guard and tackle on that, Jay, and led the way for the gainer.
Be 3rd and 3 at about the 20, certainly in 4-down territory here, you would think. Unless something bad happens on this one. Here's the handoff. They go to Ishii.
I love the way Ishii just keeps driving. You can tell he's just a tough football player. I mean, I've seen all of 5 minutes of him so far, and 22 is a football player. And I love the way he keeps going north-south and falls ahead for probably another yard there, Jay.
First down at the 17. Minnetonka's 4th first down of this drive. They've taken the opening kick and marched it right down the field on the Crimson. And now is where you really find out, who wins this drive is going to be a good tone setter for this game here.
Yeah, and so far, Coach Lombardi hasn't really.
Ball on the ground there. Sorry, Joe. Tolkinen gets back on it himself.
No, I was just gonna talk about loading the box, and that time Coach Lombardi did have 8 guys walked up. Didn't matter because they mishandled the ball.
Here's a look. The handoff appeared to be right where it should be, but Tolkinen didn't quite get a grasp on it. You give him credit, though, for the way he was able to pounce on that ball in a hurry as he beat Josiah Atkinson to it.
Yeah, that was a big recovery right there. Rule of thumb is fumbles like that, always the quarterback's fault. But I'm an old quarterback coach, so.
Back to Tolkien, and he is swarmed and thrown down. Maple Grove arriving in a hurry there. Nate Becker first to him and will drag him down, so be another loss on the play of about 3. And I was just saying how they were in such good position. Well, you fumble the first down play, you get stopped for a loss there, and all of a sudden it's not looking quite as bright for Minnetonka. And on the flip side, for the guys in the black and crimson, they have stepped up nicely these last 2 plays.
They have, yeah, they have. And we'll see what. Last time it wasn't 3rd and 17. I think they had a 3rd and 8, and they dialed up kind of a little curl in the middle of Maple Grove zone. We'll see what they do this time.
Gendro with a little pressure coming, dumps the pass off. It's complete. And a nice hit delivered there after the reception by Iverson. And that will leave them well short of the first down, obviously, here, as there'll be pickup of about 5.
Yeah, we'll see what quarterback, a little crossing pattern there to Iverson. And 3rd and 17, that's a tough pickup, but they're got a field goal attempt here, Jay. See what their kicking game's gonna look like tonight.
Nathan Ross on the tackle that time for the Crimson. Pierce Zabilla on for the field goal try here, and his kick is up, and it is good. So Minnetonka doesn't get the touchdown they wanted, but it was a nice drive down the field, and they will convert for a field goal to get the scoring started here this evening. And there's a spot where, you know, the weather some nights you probably wouldn't have even attempted that one that we've had lately, but in this case they're able to go through, and Zabilla, the senior, able to drill that one. Didn't seem to be any problem at all.
No, and he looks real on the follow through, looks real confident, drills it through, and Minnetonka, after taking about 7 minutes off the clock there, and of course that also means Maple Grove can't have the ball, which is I'm sure it seems like part of their strategy, at least early on tonight. So they come away with 3 points, and that's a good job by Tonka.
That's a good point about you kind of put a little more pressure, it feels like, on the other team's offense when they've been sitting for so long now. Now they sort of feel like we need to do something right away. We need to answer. And
yeah, exactly. So we'll see how the Crimson responds here with Nate Elms at the controls. See what Maple Grove can dial up.
Raymond and Vey back deep for this one. Vey is going to chase it down, but it gets through his hands into the end zone. It'll be a touchback here. So Crimson will get their first possession here, trailing at 3-0. As Joe said, they've got Nate Elms, senior, at quarterback. Had a little bit of a tough week last week against a good Champlain Park team, but overall he's had a pretty decent season for the Crimson. And
my last year at Maple Grove, Nate was a freshman. We brought him up, a lot of promise, and he's actually still only a junior. And I think if they're patient with Nate, he'll continue to get better.
First down handoff, Cooper Wegscheid just tripped up as he picks up about 6, maybe 7. Wegscheid will split time with Spencer Wary at that running back slot, as you see he checks out right now.
Yep, Cooper's a little smaller in stature, but very quick feet, hits the hole fast and hard, and good little running back for the Crimson.
Got Gibson in there in the backfield now, and he will take the toss. Gibson, the talented linebacker. Haven't seen a lot of him on offense this year, but hey, it's playoff time. You got to go with whatever's going to get you there. 5'11", 215-pounder.
Right.
And he picks up the first down with ease.
And there's some of that. We were talking a little while ago about their zone, inside zone, outside zone, stretch play, if you will. And we saw the stretch play. You'll see a lot of that tonight from Maple Grove.
First down and 10 at the 35 of Maple Grove, as Minnetonka leading at 3-0 here, this first round playoff game in Class 6A. Elms tossing it here on the sweep. Well defended though by the Skippers. Nice tackle there by Ben Conan. And it'll be a loss on the play.
Yep. Maple Grove trying the edges there a little bit with a jet. Actually, technically that's a pass. So if he drops that, that's an incomplete pass. But it's a jet sweep really, and but to no avail. Tonka defends it nicely. If this game stays on the ground like this, Jay, we're going to have a really quick first quarter. It's moving right along.
2nd and 13 now for the Crimson. Elms play action, fires, completing to Raymond. He made a nice cut. He was ready to go as soon as he caught that one, turned it upfield, and it looks like he'll have enough for a first down.
Yeah, real nice route, and off a play action after Maple Grove running the ball, their first pass, and play action, great way to go, and Raymond makes a nice grab and picks up the first down.
Well, and when you get into that 2nd and long situation, to be able to pick it up like that, got to give your quarterback and your offense some confidence here too. So from the 45 now, handoff. Here's Gibson powering forward into Tonka territory. Ishii in on the stop that time, along with got some help as well from Sandler Tollefson.
Yeah, and it looks like Maple Grove is using their fullback much like Minnetonka uses Ishii. Jay, he's kind of running him kind of inside the tackles and making good yardage. Maple Grove a nice drive of their own going here.
Here's Gibson taking the handoff again. And Minnetonka's probably looking around saying, who's this guy? This isn't the guy we normally see running the football. And they even hid it from us too. The little depth chart that we got from the Crimson does not show Gibson as an offensive, likely substitute either.
I remember this young man as an underclassman though, and he was a good running back. He actually kind of got dinged up in my last year at Maple Grove when he was with the freshman or JV, and yeah, he's definitely been a horse tonight so far, running hard.
Picks up a couple on that play.
Maple Grove's got some, it's not that Maple Grove is in a go fast type offense, but they've got some real nice rhythm going here too, Jay, and they're really not letting Minnetonka get too much of a breather between plays.
Weary now in there in the backfield with Elms on 2nd down and 8. They fake that jet sweep look. Now Elms stepping up and looking downfield with it, throwing it toward the corner, but it'll fall incomplete. Pretty well covered out there, and that's one thing that Minnetonka has had some trouble with, according to Coach Nelson, that their secondary at times has been a little leaky, but that time they did a good job.
Right. Yeah, he talked about their pass defense being suspect. But you know what? I always tell quarterbacks, if you're going to miss on that, miss long, and let's huddle up and come back and see if we can pick up this 3rd and 8.
Was looking for his tight end angle there, but really solid coverage back there. Michael Clough was there for Tonka. So here we go, 3rd down and 8 for the Crimson. They're going to go to the ground with Wegscheid. Makes a nice cut, but then a nice stop as well for Tonka by Carvon Gurley. And he'll stop him 2, maybe 3 yards short of the first down. It was a nice little changeup from Maple Grove and a great cut by Wegscheid. If it wasn't for Gurley's pursuit here, this one might have been a first down.
Yeah, exactly. And there's those quick feet from Cooper that we talked about a little earlier in the broadcast here, and sometimes when you get some of those big O-line or even D-line guys in front, Cooper can sort of get lost.
4th and 3. Maple Grove going for it. The toss back to Gibson. Breaks a tackle, but he can't get past the next wave. And Tonka will stop him on downs. As Ishii in on the stop with Elijah Russ. And so Gibson is stacked up short of the first down. And Minnetonka will take over on downs as we near the end of the first quarter. See, he broke through one tackle, but then the pursuit coming, and Ishii finishing him off.
Yep, Ishii was right there to get it. Was Gibson, wasn't it, Jay? That they had the toss sweep too. So
Gendro and the Tonka offense coming back out on the field as they'll start with it on their 32. Might be the last play of the first quarter here, depending on how things go. Looking play action. Oh, almost intercepted there. As well read by Jaden Matchett, and he nearly took it, but instead it'll fall incomplete.
Yeah, he really did. And Jaden typically is a free safety type, but as I said, Lombo will move guys around, and that was almost that could have been very damaging there for Minnetonka.
So 2nd down and 10. Skippers maybe feeling fortunate to still have the football there. They got that big stop and nearly gave it right back. Gendro will give it to Tolkinen, trying to pick his way through. Got a block on the edge and then is knocked out of bounds. Not a whole lot of real estate to work with there here. And see where they'll spot it right near the line of scrimmage, it looks like.
Yeah, kind of fortunate really to get back. He had to kind of work hard just to get back to the line of scrimmage on that one, Jay. And got bounced out of bounds, so it stops the clock.
Yeah, he'll lose actually 1 yard on the play, and we'll bring up a 3rd down and 11 here for Tonka. Gendro 2 for 4 through the air. Rolling to his right and throwing, and a nice grab coming back to meet it there was Lean. And he will be well short of the first down, though.
Yeah, he nice sprint out there, and nice job by Gendro. And Lean seems to be certainly one of his favorite receivers, but well short of the first down, I believe.
So we've come to the end of the first quarter here. Minnetonka, nice first drive, but we're held to a field goal. So our score after one is Minnetonka 3, Maple Grove nothing here on CCX. Welcome back here as we begin quarter number 2. A fair catch called for and made there by Nathan Ross for Maple Grove after the Minnetonka punt by Ishii. So it will be Crimson football as they get a stop on the second Minnetonka drive after the Skippers drove down the field nicely on the first opportunity with the football. Maple Grove ball for the second time. They'll have it at their 28-yard line as we change ends here for the second quarter.
Yeah, if we get a chance down the road, we have to take a look at that Maple Grove actually punt return and punt rush. Kind of an interesting setup for Lombo, and if we get a chance, we'll take a look at it next time, Jay.
Elms on the keeper, and a nice run as he is knocked down at about the 37-yard line. So picks up about 8 or maybe 9 on the play.
Yeah, nice job by Nate. He first of all, he's not a small fellow. He's kind of a load to tackle. And earlier this year, when they were trying out the triple option, Nate was running the ball quite often. So he's not a stranger to running the ball. They ran a little quarterback power that time right up in there.
Well, I think it gives the defense one more thing to think about, too, when you can utilize, your quarterback in the run game.
Absolutely. You got to account for one more guy.
Toss back to Wegscheid. He will pick up the first down out over the 40 as Ishii wrapped him up down low. 4th first down of this first half for Maple Grove.
A lot of teams will run that inside zone on a handoff situation, but Coach Lombardi likes that little quick toss. I think he thinks that it gives the running back just maybe one more step to kind of identify the hole. And because with an inside zone, you can either go the front side, maybe A gap, or backside A gap.
First down from the 41. Elms that little toss again to Wegscheid. And knocked down shy of the 45-yard line there as he ran out of space. See the rest of the Tonka defense there. Pickup of 3 on that carry for Wegscheid, so 2nd and 7 coming up here for the Crimson.
And one thing about Lombo, he's fine with picking up 3 and 4 yards at a clip, Jay. He'll do that. He'll do that all night to you if you let him. He has no problem with that. This time he's got kind of a slot receiver to the top of the screen and a little bit of a pistol situation.
Bobbled by Elms, and under pressure he throws toward the outside. A little bit of a collision there, but I don't think the ball was really in a spot where it was going to be catchable for Raymond, and it'll fall incomplete.
No, and I'm not sure. Well, it looks like we got the camera on number 20 there. Someone it was definitely a kind of a hurry-up situation in Nate's face, and he had to get rid of it.
Yeah, especially after he bobbled it. I think he was feeling the pressure a little more. There you see Clough, and to me that's a good no call. For one thing, the ball lands out of bounds, which I know you're not supposed to really, there's no such thing as calling it uncatchable, but
right.
It was just, I think, a good no call.
Good no call.
3rd down and 7. Elms rolling to his left this time. Now steps up, fires, and complete. Nice throw and catch there as he's able to hook up with Overly coming back to meet it.
Nice pitch and catch that time by Nate and to Overly. Right at the last second there, Minnetonka switches into what we call a bear front, Jay. So they've got all 3 gaps covered inside. I don't know if they were thinking Maple Grove was going to try to run inside zone, but nice pitch to the outside by Nate Elms.
They gain to the Minnetonka 42-yard line now. 1st down and 10 here for the Crimson. Trailing at 3-0, but trying to get a little march going here early in the 2nd quarter. Got Bulow as the fullback, Gibson as the tailback there. And Gibson stacked up after a 2-yard gain, and now got a player injured back behind the play, looks like.
Yeah, I think when you see Joe Bulow come into the game, Jay, pretty much a guarantee that they're going to be running behind him. They don't have him in there for nothing.
Tollefson shaken up. See, looks like the little blood there.
Looks like Bulow's staying in the game too, Jay.
Kind of another indication that it's playoff time. You say, you know what? We're going to get a couple of really physical guys in there who've been great on D, and I'm sure they've been practicing it this way for a little while too. Here's Gibson trying to run somebody over there as he's stopped at about the 35-yard line. Looks like we have a flag down on the play though.
Yep, and I think we're in the mode where Lombo is going to play a little smash mouth against Minnetonka and see how they hold up, Jay.
Oh, we had a clipping call against Maple Grove.
Be interesting to see what number. I don't think it was Bulow. I think I watched Bulow. He got the guy from the front side.
It's somewhere over in that pile near the top.
Okay.
Yeah, chop block. So the first penalty of the game is a big one against Maple Grove.
Yeah, that's and they had picked up the first down too, didn't they, Jay?
Or close to it at least. Close, yeah.
think he sent a play in with Luke Raymond this time.
All the way back to their 45-yard line. And about 23 yards to go, 2nd and 23. Elms throwing it out, looking for Raymond. And well defended by Tonka as Tyler Lean beat the attempted block. He got some help as well, but he pretty much stopped that play.
I almost thought when I saw Nate throwing it out, kind of a hot screen to Luke Raymond out here, I almost thought they were trying to set up the double pass, but I think the play was for Raymond.
There you get a look, and that's a helpless feeling when you're the wide receiver and you know you're supposed to get that guy and he jumps in and beats you to it. At that point, you either got to just let it go or maybe, throw a hold in there, which would make matters even worse.
2-by-2 formation here for Maple Grove.
Elms is going to step up and run. He has some room, but not anywhere near enough for the first down. He'll get back to just about the original line of scrimmage on that set of downs.
One thing about Minnetonka with Coach Clough. Coach Clough loves to play man, and press defense, and I think Nate saw that, and a nice savvy move because it was run all the way, and you got guys running away from you, and by the time they turn around, Nate picks up 10, 11 yards.
Bernier Gaines on to punt here for Maple Grove. Gets away a very high kick and fairly short. Going to take a sideways bounce and be down at about the 14-yard line.
That would be a poison call out on the field somewhere. And actually, number 3 was fortunate. Number 3 had his back to the bounce, and he's fortunate that the ball didn't find him. But anyway, it didn't, and Minnetonka's ball.
So they get a stop here on Maple Grove's second possession. However, Minnetonka pinned fairly deep here, back at about the 14-yard line after the 30-yard punt. 7:08 to go here in this second quarter. Joe Gendro leading the Skippers out. His team up by a 3-0 score here in this first round game in Class 6A. And we get a little early movement there. First penalty against Minnetonka.
Like they called it on Braden Fisk there, Jay. But really didn't have my eye on Jaden on that. But anyway, so now it's 1st and 15. You got to be careful down here. This is an interesting part of the red. It's the red zone that you don't want to be in necessarily on offense.
Tolkinen takes the handoff here, and he is stopped at right about the line of scrimmage. Maple Grove, boy, you get a. I mean, obviously they were disappointed their drive stop, but you get a punt that pins them pretty deep, then a first down penalty, and I think they're on defense, but they're looking to be aggressive and see if they can't make something happen here. At the very least, force a punt from deep in their own territory.
Right. And I think what the one adjustment Maple Grove has made, Jay, is versus early in the game when Tonka was having some success, Maple Grove has decided to take the extra player and put him right in the box and kind of dare Minnetonka to run the football. They've got eight, maybe even 9 guys up there now. It looks like they forced another
timeout taken. Okay. Yeah. Here's how things shape up in Class 6A on this side as the Crimson and Skippers play, and the winner will get, I think it's kind of safe to say, probably Lakeville South and not Roseville in the next round. And also on this side of the bracket, got St. Michael Albertville playing Buffalo and Mounds View taking on Burnsville.
Right. Yeah, the one thing about Buffalo, and I'm having a little bit of a mental block on the young man's name, but when you go up against Buffalo, though, they've got that
Aiden Bauman.
They got Aiden Bauman, and his father's the coach out there, and the air will be filled with footballs when you play Buffalo, right? And I hearken back to that great game. Was it last year against Elk River when it was like
is it 70 to 60 or something? And it was crazy.
80 to 70.
80 to 70, yeah, crazy. So Bauman can put up a lot of points.
2nd and 15 now for Minnetonka. Pretty good protection. Gendro dropping back into his own end zone now, scampering out of there. And he will be stopped after a short gain. It looked like he was going to be really in trouble back there, and he's brought down by Joe Schmidt.
Yeah, he made a nice little sidestep, and then on the on rush, and then like you said, kind of made a little something out of nothing to get a little breathing room back there.
Just for a split second, it was like they were reaching for him right when he was at the goal line, but he was able to, had enough speed to get around the edge there a little bit. But still a tough spot here for the Skippers. 3rd down and 13. You don't want to play too cautious if you're them, but you also surely do not want to turn the ball over here.
No, you do not. And you might just want to depend on your kicking game.
Gendro's pass incomplete, and probably just as well, because Veii was up there jumping that play. And
yeah, Maple Grove had 3-on-2 out there, Jay, on their pass defense, and that wasn't going to be, as you said, even if 2 catches it. It's not going to probably go anywhere. Now we'll have a chance to look at this punt rush that I had alluded to. This looks like this is the more conventional. This actually may be, they may have their kick block team in there. They got a lot of guys up front, Jay.
Ishii is the punter. Good snap, and they play return game here.
Right.
Ross fields it at the 44. Doesn't go too far, but they're still going to have great field position.
Yeah, really good coverage by Tonka though on that. Very good coverage.
Yeah, it was 33-yard punt and just a couple on the return, but they'll have it at the 41.
Right. Sometimes on the middle return like that, even if the return guy can pick up 5 to 10 yards, that's a win for the Maple Grove special teams, but Tonka was all over that. It's like Gibson back in the game again, and yep, Nate Elms under center this time, and I think our friend Bulow's in there again.
Yes, he is leading the way here. Gibson stacked up after a gain of 2, maybe 3 on the play.
I hesitate to call it a 4-minute offense because I think Coach Lombardi is just, he's gonna run his ground game here and maybe a little bit of sprint out action, a little play action with Nate Elms here, but and they got of course plenty of time with 4 and change left.
2nd and 7 here for Maple Grove. Play action now, and Elms looking downfield, and the catch is made as Engel comes back to meet it. Defender was there, but Engel saw the ball, and the defender really didn't, and that adds up to a nice completion for the Crimson down to the 15.
And very nice,
16 anyway.
And very nice touch, I thought, by Nate on this one. Put some air under it, and as Coach Nelson said, their secondary is somewhat suspect, and two let him have a little too much space, and Maple Grove's in business.
First down at the 16 now for the Crimson, trying to erase a 3-0 lead for Minnetonka.
Too tight here for Maple Grove, Jay.
To Gibson, had some room up the middle. Ishii, though, makes a nice tackle. There was room behind him if he didn't bring him down, but it'll still be a gainer of close to about 4.
And that's what Lombo loves to run. He loves to run too tight with an H-back. He'll bring the H-back across and in a blocking situation. And he loves that formation. A lot of times he'll shift he'll trade from side to side too. Haven't seen it tonight.
From the 12, give is to Gibson left side this time. Running hard down to about the 3.
A lot of momentum by Gibson, I thought, that time with Bulow and company kind of leading the way there. They just kind of collapsed that edge over there, Jay.
Spotted more like the 4-yard line, though. First down, goal to go coming up.
Not sure why the clock stopped, but
yeah, briefly for the first down, I think.
Okay.
But you might be right. It might have been more briefly than, or not as briefly as it should. There's Elms walking in for the touchdown, and Maple Grove playing some power football, able to get it done. Gibson with a nice run, and it sets up Elms to run it on in from 4 yards out, and the Crimson take the lead for the first time.
Yeah, just a little quarterback power, quarterback follow, if you will. He didn't even really fake a handoff. He just kind of ducked up in there, and a lot of his friends cleared the way for him, and Maple Grove gets the first touchdown of the evening.
Minnetonka probably thinking that one was a little too easy. Not a lot of resistance. Here's Wary on to attempt the extra point, and it is no good. The snap was high, and I'm not sure if that impacted his timing a little bit. There's another look at Elms, and you see they didn't. Yeah, they just kind of overpowered him initially. Beulah was trying to lead through, and he didn't even really have anybody to block.
No, he right, exactly. He didn't get in there, and I want to say it was either Nick Ewell or Campsala, I think, that led Nate into the end zone on that one, Jay. And we'll see if this extra point comes back to haunt later. Special teams, especially in playoffs, so important. That third phase.
They will kick off for the Crimson. As a little extra bounce in their step now as they've taken the lead here at 6-3. A little under 3 minutes to go here in this opening half.
Yeah, and I think Minnetonka, again, kind of like we talked in the beginning, again, even if they don't score, they generated some offense on that first drive and really haven't done too much since then, Jay.
High short kick taken by Tolkinen, and then he is knocked down as he sprawls out over the 30-yard line to about the 32, so the Skippers will get it back with a good amount of time. Long field to go here, about 68 yards from the end zone.
But good field position, Jay. Not a bad start, particularly last time when they were in the shadow of their own end zone. And see how they play this with 2:48 left in the half.
Boy, their first drive was really nice. They really kind of gashed Maple Grove's defense, but then since then it's not been nearly as easy to come by yards. There's Ishii taking the handoff, and much like we said with Gibson, just kind of overpowering people, Ishii running strong right there.
Yeah, and that was reminiscent more of their first drive right there. And one thing about Lombardi, he changes defenses so much. Sometimes the guys might be in not a real great spot, and other times they're in a great spot, but he confuses offenses that way, and he sure has had success over the years.
Second and a couple now for Tonka. Tolkinen takes this handoff, flag down on the play, and probably going to be a hold. It was thrown right in the middle of that pile up in the line of scrimmage area.
Yeah, that's usually the holding, and there it is. Yeah, unfortunate for Tonka too, because they had the first down, Jay.
It's amazing how much difference penalties and when they come can make a difference in a high school football game.
Right. Even earlier when they had.
Oh, there. I think we got a pretty good look at it. Wrapped up top there was the guards. I believe it was Galgano. Had a kind of a bear hug on a little bit there.
I was just going to use that same term myself, Jay. That was a classic bear hug right there. But 2nd and 12, manageable.
Go to Tolkinen on the ground and almost fought his way out of that tackle entirely there as Becker was hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, Tolkinen did a nice job of keeping his legs moving, keeping his feet moving, and going north-south. So what do we, maybe like a 3rd and 9, maybe, Jay, possibly?
Yep.
Somewhere close to that. I haven't seen either team run any kind of a screen game tonight. This might not be a bad spot, although Lombo doesn't do a lot of blitzing, but he might be tempted to blitz on this one.
Tonka not really in a hurry here because obviously if they don't get this, it's going to be 4th down. Going to go with the toss out to Tolkien and trying to get wide, and nicely done defensively. Ranging over there was Vey. Fought off a stiff arm and got him to the ground, and even more importantly, strung him out. Now Maple Grove does use a timeout.
Right.
A reminder of our CCX Sports Play of the Week. It's brought to you by Chick-fil-A in Maple Grove as we put 4 new plays up each week. And it's up to you, the viewers, to vote to decide the winner. Go to ccxmedia.org and click on Sports in the Play of the Week tab to choose the winner. And we thank Chick-fil-A of Maple Grove for sponsoring the Play of the Week. 4th down and 8 coming up. 50 seconds left in the first half. Maple Grove looking to get the football back and see if they can't do something with it here.
You know, going back to that play, Vade, really a textbook tackle, I thought, Jay, on the edge there, because Tolkien, you know, a nice runner, you know, for Tonka, and if he gets that edge, you know, he may pick up that 1st down, and so a really nice textbook tackle by Vade there to thwart that. And then we'll see what we'll see what Coach Lombardi dials up here again for either punt block or punt return.
Ishii is the punter for the Skippers.
See if they come after. See if they come after Ishii.
Gets away a good kick. Fair catch called for and made by Devin Hornbacher for Maple Grove back at about the 25. So nice punt, and I'll tell you what also it makes me think that a block isn't all that likely. Good long snapper. The ball's getting there when it should. It's not drifting. It's hitting him chest high.
Right.
And those little things like that make a big difference. So now Maple Grove, not that it's impossible, but they don't have the field position that look like they might just because Minnetonka executed pretty well on special teams.
Right, right. And Ishii got that punt to turn over for him. Very nice spiral, turns over and kind of forced the Maple Grove young man to make a fair catch.
Well, a 35-yard punt, and more importantly, if you're Tonka, no return on the play. Handoff to Wegscheid, trying to squirt through there, and the ball came out. It looks like they're saying it's down, though.
Gain of 5.
They'll pick up 5 on the play.
And looks like Maple Grove's going to let it run, Jay. Not sure if they probably have to snap it at least one more time. Maple Grove really only have one timeout. I think they're going to let it go.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the field position being what it was probably dictated this, you know, going a little conservative here at the end, I think, as well. If they had maybe got it at midfield, maybe a little something different.
Exactly, but Ishii's punt, I think, you know, took care of that.
So it'll be 1 half in the books here. Minnetonka had a nice drive to start the game, wound up with a field goal. Maple Grove finishing a drive with a touchdown in the last 3 minutes of the second quarter, so they will be the team taking a lead into the locker room at 6-3, but a pretty even game back and forth. We've seen some good things defensively and some good things offensively for both sides. I think we're kind of about where we thought we might be at this point, give or take, you know, a little here and there.
Right, and yeah, we kind of said it probably wouldn't be a real high-scoring affair tonight, and I believe Maple Grove gets the ball to begin the second half. And you know, they're fine with that. Both teams, like you said, Minnetonka had that nice drive early and came away with 3, and Maple Grove possibly showing a little bit more offense, but really only has 6 points to show for it.
See the student section here enjoying this one. The weather is actually a lot better tonight than it's been on some of the recent playoff nights. We've had some cold ones for football and soccer here, and that's kind of typical for October. You never quite know what you're going to get. It might warm up again, or it might be snowing soon, or possibly both. That's kind of par for the course when we get to this point, certainly.
My last year at Maple Grove, we played Roseville. It was an early round game, and I think we probably had 10 or 12 inches of snow that night, and it was Roseville did a heck of a job of making the field playable that evening.
Let's go down now to Allie.
Coach, a pretty solid first half. Clean football, good time of possession, solid defense. What did you see in your team?
Yeah, much the same. We just got to finish some plays on offense. We got to keep our defense off the field. Their quarterback's good enough where if you give him enough chances, he's going to hurt you like he did down there. But our first opening drive was awesome. We rather have got a touchdown, obviously, but set the stage and obviously can play with them. We just got to try to move the football better.
What do you want to do offensively to move that? Do you want to try to incorporate a little bit of pass game or just keep plugging down the middle?
I think you need to, but I think first down's critical for us. We need to get it to 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6 rather than, 2nd long. So that's huge, but also we'll need to throw the ball too.
What do you like defensively about this team really holding Maple Grove to only 6 points?
I think we're physical. I think we're taking care of the line of scrimmage, and we just got to keep playing and prevent the big play.
Appreciate your time, Coach.
You bet, thanks.
Guys.
Thanks very much, Allie, and thanks to Coach Nelson. Always been a class act and great for us to deal with, even though he's been, quote-unquote, the visiting coach through his years at playing in Minnetonka, facing teams here in our CCX viewing areas. You see some Maple Grove action here to take us to break as the Crimson take the 6-3 lead on that Nate Elms run.
Meet the scan. A simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back here to Maple Grove. Pretty nice night for football here in the first round of the Class 6A playoffs as Maple Grove leading Minnetonka by a score of 6-3. And Maple Grove's had some pretty good success in other sports this fall as well, including in girls soccer and also Champlain Park. And those two teams are into the semifinals. Here's a look at highlights from the quarterfinal round. Champlain Park's in blue, Stillwater is in white. And some highlights from their quarterfinal game the other night. A blustery evening, a big injury. Megan Carlson, one of the best players for Champlain Park, went down, had to leave and go to the hospital. And Stillwater takes the lead after they'd really kind of outplayed the Rebels. And you're thinking, uh-oh. But then Champlain Park with an immediate answer. Just seconds later, they're able to score to tie things up. Rebels #1 seed coming in and undefeated. So this game goes to a shootout, and it is Lindsay Carlson, Megan Carlson's sister, kind of fitting. She finishes off the shootout. Champlain Park 5 for 5 on their kicks. They got one save was all they needed, and they win 5-4 in the shootout. Then on that same field, it's Minnetonka, who we're seeing tonight against Maple Grove. And this time a little revenge for Maple Grove. Minnetonka knocked them out last year. This time around, it is the Crimson winning it and get 2 goals, the second being on a penalty kick right there that came late in the game to kind of help seal it up. And Sarah Cortez, the shutout in goal. Maple Grove wins it 2-0. So now they are on a collision course. The Rebels and Crimson played earlier this season to a tie, and this time even more at stake. They're going to be moving indoors to the Viking Stadium, US Bank Stadium. Bright and early, breakfast with state soccer, I guess, on Monday morning as Champlain Park and Maple Grove tangle in the first semifinal. And then Rosemont Centennial will battle in the next. And then the winner plays for the championship on Halloween afternoon at US Bank Stadium. So congratulations and good luck to Champlain Park and Maple Grove. Well, obviously only one or the other can win that one, but we're happy for those teams doing as well as they have this year and advancing, and good luck to them as they do battle on Monday morning for a spot in the state title game. Wow, the Burgers look good here at Maple Grove. 6-3 Crimson is our score. We'll have our first half highlights and stats, and then we will continue with our second half of football here. The winner moves on to the next round. The loser done for the season here tonight as the Skippers and Crimson battle.
Operation Wonder Park is a go!
There's nothing more powerful than imagination.
Honey, have you seen my cell phone?
But don't just imagine.
My park came to life?
Ooh, a plot twist.
Use STEM to build. Create.
She did it.
And change the world.
Who's with me?
I'm more of a 2 feet on the ground kind of guy.
It's gonna hurt tomorrow.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
Concession stand doing nice business tonight here as Maple Grove and Minnetonka get set. You got some Halloween candy there. I guess it can be just candy for anybody right now, but that's coming up soon. All the kids getting excited about that. Seeing a lot of costumes around these last few days. So 6-3 lead for Maple Grove as we take a look at some highlights from the opening half of play here. Offenses move the ball some good defensive plays too. Minnetonka got started with a very nice drive. There's the connection to Lean. They haven't completed a whole lot of passes, but mostly more on the ground. Tolkien with a nice run here as he kept the legs driving, and then they end up getting a field goal out of it as Pierce Zabilla drilling one for the Skippers to lead it 3-0. Gibson hasn't played a lot of running back this year, but has been called on a lot as they go to more of a power look. Their linebacker has come through with some big runs in this first half. But this was a big stop right here for Minnetonka. That was a 4th down play, and the Skippers getting off the field there with a nice stop. And then a near interception right there. Very well read by Matchett, but he couldn't quite come up with it. And then Gendro in a little trouble scrambling out of there. Looked like there was a chance he might be sacked right near the goal line. Instead, he was able to get a yard or two out of that. But ultimately, the Crimson got the football back. Pass completed here to Engel. It was one-on-one coverage, and he came back to meet the ball nicely and was able to win the battle there with Iverson. And then drive finished off here by Nate Elms. Give a lot of credit to the O-line on that play, too, as he didn't have to do a whole lot to just follow them into the end zone, basically. The extra point attempt, unfortunately, for the Crimson was no good, though, so they lead it 6-3. As we get a look at the first half stats, not a ton of offense. Pretty good rush game by Maple Grove, though, 88 yards. And they've gotten 7 first downs to 4. Not a lot of penalties in the game and no turnovers so far either. So both coaches have to like that part of things, that they've been able to play a pretty clean game overall.
Yeah, and I think Coach Nelson kind of alluded to it there right as he was going in the halftime. First down is big for Tonka. And I think what Tonka with Maple Grove loading the box like we've alluded to, Tonka doesn't have to put the ball up a lot, but they've got to at least be effective. And they have been effective a couple of times with some little curl patterns over the middle. And so their young quarterback has to hit on those and, loosen up that box a little bit and help their run game. And then I think they can get back to what they were doing on that first drive, Jay.
Take a look again at our bracket for this portion. We calling it the Eden Prairie bracket, is the 4 sites that'll be the final sites for the quarterfinal games. And Maple Grove, Minnetonka, and the winner will take on, as I said earlier, probably safe to say Lakeville South. I would think Buffalo actually has a lead on STMA so far. Mounds View not having too much trouble with Burnsville so far. And then the bracket that will end up at Chanhassen looks like this. Wayzata leading big, no surprise there, against an Egan team that's really had a rough year. Eastridge leading Osseo by a score of 22-7. Eastview is up on Edina. That one would maybe be a slight upset. Centennial's had a pretty good year, and they are leading Stillwater. And again, that side of the bracket ultimately ends up at Chanhassen for their quarterfinals.
Yeah, Eastview's been coming on as of late. I think they had quite a shootout with Mounds View and nipped Mounds View 41-40 a couple weeks ago.
Here's the bracket that'll end up at Stillwater. Totino Grace is the top seed there. They're leading Forest Lake 14-3. Shakopee, one of those teams that the record doesn't look great, but they're a tough team, and they have a 2-point lead on Farmington. Blaine has not had a very good year after having a strong year last year, and they have a lead on Woodbury, and Lakeville North is leading Hopkins by a score of 21-0. I got to admit, I feel kind of sorry for Hopkins having a 6-2 record, and that's their first round draw. But then again, a lot of their opponents in the regular season were not 6A teams, and that's the big reason for that.
Right, exactly.
Then the last bracket will be what we call the Park Center bracket, because Park Center will be hosting the quarterfinals. Champlain Park got the only bye. There's 31 teams in Class 6A, and just at random, one of the section top seeds gets a bye, so they're not playing. And they move into the semifinal round there. Prior Lake leading Cretin by a score of 14-0. Rosemont has a lead on White Bear, and Eden Prairie, no surprise, Anoka's had a rough year and a rough couple of years. And Dave Nelson, the coach from Minnetonka, of course, a graduate of Anoka, where his dad was longtime legendary head coach Stan Nelson there. So we'll have an interesting 6A breakdown this year, I think, certainly, as it looks like Allie is ready with Coach Lombardi.
Coach, we haven't seen a lot of Gibson in your run game this season, but tonight it's a different story. What are you liking with putting him in that position?
Well, when you get to the playoffs, you want to put your best players on the field and make them, if you're going to go out, you're going to go out with your guns a-blazing. So we thought, let's give them a chance to run the ball, be physical. It's kind of what we've watched Edina do this year with their linebacker, and we thought, give them the ball and let our best players try to make a difference.
You wanted to make sure that you guys weren't going to hurt yourself with careless mistakes. That was a pretty clean first half. How do you carry that into the second half? Because this is a tight one.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to have to do, and I think what you saw in the first half is how the second half's going to go too. We just have to play methodically, be patient, keep moving the ball, keep working field position, and then when we get a short field, take advantage of it, and we did. And so this is going to be down to the wire, and that's fun. That's what playoff football is about, and we have a ton of respect for them, but we want to come out on top.
You did see a little bit of success coming through the air. Do you think we'll see a little more of that in the second?
Yeah, I think so. I was proud of Nate. I thought he handled the game well. That's his big thing, is just don't try to overdo things and just be a guy who runs the team, and I thought he did a nice job.
Appreciate your time, Lombo.
You bet.
Thanks.
Thanks, Allie. Thanks, Coach Lombardi. We will take one more time out and then come back with our second half of football. It is a tight one, and as Coach Lombardi said, he expects it to stay that way throughout. 6-3, Crimson. We'll be right back.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
And welcome back to Maple Grove. There's the touchdown that gave the Crimson a 6-3 halftime lead as Nate Elms ran it in from 4 yards out with just a little under 3 minutes to go. And as Joe said, going into half, Maple Grove will get the football to begin this second half as Zabilla gets set to kick it off. Vay and Raymond waiting back deep here for the Crimson. We've seen a game, too, without a ton of possessions because both teams keeping it on the ground. The clock's been moving generally, so each possession, even this very first one, becomes pretty important in the overall scheme of the second half.
Very important. Very important. A lot of people talk about the last possession of the first half, first possession of the second half, and I really think, Jay, that if Tonka's going to advance, they're the team that's going to have to change it up a bit, possibly throw on first down once in a while. And not that they, have to hit the panic button or anything. Obviously, it's a 6-3 game, but I really don't believe you're going to see a lot of change from Maple Grove. Maple Grove's going to do what they did the first half.
Vay from the 6, a gap opens and he darts toward it, and then it closes up as he's brought down at about the 26-yard line. Looked like for a moment that it was pretty well blocked and he was going to have a spot to go, but Skippers did a pretty good job of sealing it up.
They did. They had Maple Grove had a middle return there, and as you said, it looked like the Red Sea parted there, but Minnetonka was there to close it up quickly. But I think it's gonna be some timely passing from Nate Elms and more power football from Maple Grove.
From their 26, as Raymond comes in motion, Elms will keep it himself. And about a 2-yard pickup there, as Tonka not really fooled that time. They did a solid job stacking things up.
Right, and little almost the same play that they ran, I think, down by the goal line, but this time, as you said, Tonka just had a couple more guys there than Maple Grove could block.
Call it a gain of 3 there. It's 2nd down and 7 now at the 29 for the Crimson.
Still got Bulow in the backfield, Jay.
And Gibson takes the handoff, shrugs off a tackle. Gibson, he's a load.
Still
and
going.
He will have the 1st down out close to the 40. Looks like they'll spot him at about the 39.
As I said, when Gibson was a younger player, he was a running back, and as Lombo said, you got to have your best people out there because it's a one and done situation now. So Gibson really doing a nice job. Now, they got Cooper back in the game now, and I would imagine they're just going to stay on the ground here and run clock and see if Tonka can grind it.
Gibson had carried the ball 9 times coming into this game, and he's surpassed that with that last carry. Hand off to Wegscheid here. Got caught up in a little bit of traffic, but then got out of there, and Ishii just able to trip him up out at the 42.
And still was able to get, about 3 yards on that, I guess. Ishii did a nice job, even though he was blocked. He did a nice job of slowing Cooper up there, and then the cavalry came in to clean him up.
Well, we talked about Gibson being a linebacker and whatnot. Wegscheid had been a defensive player last year too, as working in there as an undersized guy creating havoc, and then this year moving him to running back.
Right, Cooper was a linebacker. I remember that.
Play action here as Elms rolls right, throwing, and it is incomplete. Looking for Aiden McMahon, the sophomore fullback there, but slips through his hands.
Almost looked like Aiden got his hands up just a little bit late on this one, Jay. Maybe not.
Yeah, throw was, in the second look there really gave an indication. I think the defender got in the way of Elms being able to deliver that ball exactly how he wanted. And that was a tougher catch than maybe it looked like the first time.
Right.
When you're that close to him, that it hit his hands, yes, but he had to really reach for it.
Right. I think you're right. I think he got in the way of Nate's sight lines there a little bit. So now we got 3rd and 7.
Some pressure coming on. That one is tipped and deflected. The last time was Caleb Davey getting on the rush, on Will Velgersdijk.
And there was the screen. We talked a little bit about it in the first half. There was a nice job of Nate looking off, but then the young man from Minnetonka got his arms up and deflected that thing and couldn't get the screen game working.
Velgersdijk pressure on the previous play, and that time able to bat it down. So gains on to punt here for Maple Grove. Waiting back deep for Tonka is Michael Clough. On a bounce, Clough really was hoping to maybe sneak up there and make a play on that one, but I think wisely so decided not to, and it'll be down at about the 24-yard line. Minnetonka gets the football back, but for Maple Grove, pinned him, relatively deep on the punt by Bernier Gaines.
Yeah, and that was as you said before, particularly with the game going as fast, a lot of run game, and the game's going pretty fast this evening. That's a big stop by Minnetonka's defense right there. So now we'll see if they can generate a little offense like they did in the beginning of the game.
Well, now they come out in a power look here. Let's see if they're going to try and just hammer it at Maple Grove a little bit with a D lineman in there at tight end.
Right.
Hand off to Ishii left side. Took a hard hit as he crossed the 25. He'll pick up about 3 on that play.
A hard-earned 3. Yes.
Yeah, I'll say there was a serious collision there, and they had Gurley out there leading him. He's only 6'3", 270 in there at the tight end slot that time.
Yeah, and as I said, I think Tonka, is kind of walking that tightrope a little bit. I talked about throwing on first down, and it's a little bit of a tightrope. Do you keep your run game going, or do you take a chance and put it up a little bit?
Ishii, power run there, and he'll be out over the 35 and enough for a first down here for the Skippers.
That play was reminiscent of their first drive, Jay. It's kind of an ISO play, really, where they isolate Maple Grove's linebackers and get their O-line on the linebackers and just get a good push.
It's interesting how both coaches have kind of seemed to settle in on saying, you know what, let's just see if we can run it at them here and force the defense to react to that. Little play action this time. Gendro flipping it out. Ishii with the catch, but Vei gets out there. Close the gap in a hurry. Not that Ishii's slow, but Vei looked awful quick comparatively, chasing him down.
Oh, sure, yeah. But again, not a bad little changeup by Tonka to a pretty safe pass, really. Kind of a little sprint roll, somewhat of a play action, and a little flip to probably your best football player.
I was thinking though, when you're Minnetonka, just like on the previous possession that Maple Grove had, when they tried to throw the little pass to McMahon, when you feel like you've made a really good call, you want to get more than 2 or 3 yards out of it, though.
Right, exactly.
And there's Gibson in there defensively, helping to stuff that one, as no room to run there for Tolkinen.
No, not any room at all. In fact, the Maple Grove guys almost beat the ball back there. Now, earlier in the game against Maple Grove's zone defense, they found lean, I believe, on a little curl pattern. We'll see what they look for this time, Jay. Of course, it all starts with pass protection. If you give any quarterback a little bit of time, he's gonna be able to find, if not his first, second, maybe even third receiver.
3rd and 9 here for Gendro and the Skippers. Pretty good protection. Throws into traffic, and it's tipped twice. Vei cutting across along with Matchett. I think they each got a piece of it, and Minnetonka fortunate that one wound up just as an incompletion.
They really were, because Maple Grove had kind of 2 bites at the apple on that one, and pass pro was really quite good. But what you don't want to be over the middle, it was kind of over the middle. You don't want to be high ever over the middle, because then you're looking interception.
Ishii on to punt here for the Skippers, with Ross and Hornbacher waiting deep. Knuckling kick, wow. And Ross aggressively coming up into traffic to fair catch it.
Yeah, nice job. Nice job. Ishii didn't get off the kick that he did before, and really nice job. The one bane as a special teams coach, special teams coordinator, is you put people back there. You want them to at least catch the ball, and because with every bounce, that's a possible first down or 2 first downs that you have to make up. So that was a nice job, and we got a little battle of field position going on here, Jay.
Kind of fearless too, because when you're running up, even though you've called a fair catch, when you're running up and your eyes are up in the sky looking at the football, you don't know what in the heck's going on around you, and you did a nice job concentrating.
He did, he really did.
So from the 40.
A little play action.
Gonna look deep downfield here, double coverage though, as he looked for Overly and falls incomplete. Minnetonka did not appear to be fooled. They had him bracketed pretty good.
Right, and I suspect that have to see on the replay, but I suspect that was probably a one or at most a two-man route on that, Jay. And Lombo's kind of famous for that. He'll put in max protection for his quarterback and then just take a shot on a go pattern or a post pattern.
Yeah, you're really counting on that play action fake, fooling him to the point where you're able to get that ball out of there. And obviously, Minnetonka did not. Their safeties did not bite on it.
Right, and we got Bulow and Gibson again back here.
Go on the counter, and Gibson ahead of steam and falls forward to about the 49. He's just about a yard short of the first down.
Nice little spin move on contact there, Jay, to pick up another probably 2, possibly 3 yards. And Gibson's really the heart of their rushing attack this evening, isn't he?
Yeah, he's run hard. He's got powerful legs. He's fairly compact guy, but really running hard tonight.
So now we got 3rd and short.
3rd and 1. Back to Gibson they go, and he will have enough for the first down as that line getting some nice push. He looked like he got a full 2 yards on that play into Minnetonka territory.
Yeah, you got a lot available to you at 3rd and 1, and but the safe plays, particularly with the way Bulow and company are blocking, why not give it to Gibson, move the chains.
So at the Tonka 49-yard line now, 1st down and 10 is Gibson in there with Bulow in front of him and McMahon in there as well. They go to Gibson. Gets a kick out from McMahon, and it'll be a nice run there down to about the 42.
Yeah, and this is exactly, Coach Nelson had alluded to getting his defense off the field, and that certainly isn't happening right now. This is going to be a tough series, a tough situation for Tonka if they don't, because their defense is ultimately going to get fatigued too, I would think.
2nd and 4. Elms will keep it himself. Had a lead blocker kind of get in his way a little bit there, and then he took a pretty good pop as he had to pause to wait that one out.
Right, and fell forward, and well, we moved the chains again, correct?
Yeah, it's another play where it didn't look like all that much, but you see what kind of push they're getting. He got 4 yards out of that.
Right. And as I said earlier, Lombo is perfectly fine with that. He'll take 4 yards of crack all night long.
From the 38, and we've got a flag as we'll start here on Maple Grove.
That's the only thing that stopped Maple Grove so far.
So pushing back 5, back to about the 43-yard line here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tight end on the right side there. It had a little flinch.
Yep. Nice little movement there.
So 1st and 15 now for the Crimson.
Out of the gun this time, Jay.
Elms breaks 1 tackle, but a lot of white jerseys there, and they're trying to be physical and rip it out as well.
Right. Right.
Going to be a loss of about a yard on that play. Boy, they're playing dangerous here when the motion man, that snap wasn't all that far from hitting him as it came back to Elms.
No, it wasn't. I like what Velgersdijk did there, though, Jay. You know, there was a bit of a scrum, and he was trying to scrape that ball out of Nate Elms. You know, that's heady. That's real heady.
Yeah, when you've already kind of got him stopped and you've got help, the next guy's in should be raking.
Right, exactly.
Elms looking to throw downfield and just overshooting as he tried to connect there with Brady Hubbard.
Yeah, and it looks like on the replay, maybe we can see it. It looks like we had 2 guys that definitely really. So I'm not sure Looked like the tight end was running the seam route, Jay. I don't know what the other fella.
Yeah, they wound up closer than you'd think they ought to be together there, overly on the outside.
Yeah.
And I thought it was probably to the tight end there, but yeah, it's hard to say for sure. And I'm guessing depth, one of their routes wasn't the depth they wanted. You don't want to be that close together.
Right. I'm thinking the tight end should have been a little bit more in the middle of the field running that seam route.
3rd and 16. Elms trying to draw Minnetonka off there. Now here they come with pressure. Elms throwing over the middle, complete to Spencer Wary. But he is wrapped up and is going to be stopped by Iverson and crew there for Minnetonka.
Looked like a perfect call, Jay, from an offensive perspective. I mean, Minnetonka was turning everybody loose, and Elms waits till the last second. Give him credit for that. And but we've got Lean, I think, slowed him up, and then we've got Iverson who cleans him up. And good job by Tonka's defense on that, because it looked like that screen was going to go.
Gaines on to punt here for the Crimson. A short kick fielded on the run by Clough. That was an interesting one, as coming running up on that one and not fair catching the ball, and then he was spun around and knocked down.
Right, kind of a gutsy little catch by Clough, and we're not sure if that's the coach's son or not, but nice little play, and because if it bounces, it could bounce into the high red zone, which is really problematic for Minnetonka.
Gendro and crew will have it at the 21-yard line.
I formation this time, Jay, from Tonka. A little different formation.
Tolkien stopped at about the line of scrimmage there as he started to veer left a little bit and really nowhere to go.
Usually when you're running pro I like that, you're running ISO, maybe a little bit of power, a little bit of trap, but usually trying to isolate Maple Grove's linebackers.
2nd and 10 now for Minnetonka. Gendro rolling right, throwing. Oh, a great effort by Lean, but he did not quite get the catch. Boy, he laid out for that one, got his hands out, but it did look like it hit the ground.
Yeah, nice job. Just really close, but I think it's kind of skidded along the ground there.
Look at that effort, though. Yeah, he didn't quite have it.
Yeah.
So 3rd down and 10. Maple Grove hoping to get a stop and get the ball back in excellent field position here. Minnetonka looking to convert here on this 3rd and long.
Stack receivers that time.
Gendro's pass and a similar one out to the outside, also incomplete, as Jackson Iverson reaching for that one. And so they'll force a punt here. Maple Grove doing a solid job defensively. They've really settled in. That first drive was, not what to their liking defensively, but after that, they've been very good.
Yes, they have. And that, that is that's kind of an underrated throw. That's a sneaky long throw for a quarterback that he just tried to make there. That's about a 35, 40-yard throw. It doesn't look like it, but it is.
Ishii on to punt. Hornbacher calling for the fair catch and will make it at the 44-yard line. So about a 35-yard punt, no return. Not too bad for Minnetonka, but still it does give Maple Grove excellent field position here, and it's definitely been that kind of a game where it's just a defense and kicking game and field position type night.
It has been. Yeah, it has been. You kind of almost get the feeling that the next score might be the deciding one, Jay. Points have been hard to come by here.
Going to go to Wegscheid. Oh, and well defended as that play is blown up. Arriving early for the stop there is Carter Roth for Minnetonka. Not only did he get there in good position and break down, but he was able to make a strong tackle as well.
Yeah, Carter read that all the way, and beat the block of the H-back out there and just out ahead of it. A nice job. Cooper didn't have much of a chance.
2nd and 13. Going to go to Gibson. Gibson runs through the first tackle, keeps on going as they try and take the football from him. Oh my goodness, look at Gibson go. Down inside the 45, it'll be a first down. Pick up a 15, and about the last 12 were dragging tacklers with him.
And that's so inspirational for an offense, Jay. So inspirational for, to see a young man like this, just no quit, keeps his feet moving. Good ball security, too, throughout there. Sometimes, when you get those kind of runs, you can kind of forget about the ball or it gets punched out, but just really nice job by Gibson. They come back to him.
Gibson takes a hard hit, but spins down inside the 40 there as Ishii with the stop, and some good respect between those two guys. Two really good football players have been playing both sides of the ball and meeting up right there. And Ishii got him down, but it was still a 4-yard gain for Gibson.
O-lineman Tommy Kampsela for Maple Grove getting up slow, but he's back in the huddle, Jay.
And as always, we probably should be giving more credit to what they're doing up front. You like what Gibson's been doing, but it's the guys up front are opening the holes as well.
And that's where it always starts. That's right. It's an O-line, D-line game, really.
From the 40 now. Try to pop the fullback through, but that one did not fool Minnetonka. Joe Bulow getting a handoff and nowhere to run on that one.
Yeah, they gave Joe a little cookie there, and but there wasn't much of an opening from Mr. Bulow on that one.
That's the type that quick trap is. It's kind of it either works or it doesn't right away.
It does, and Lombo's famous for that. He'll throw those in once or twice a game just to kind of make sure that you're paying attention to the quick opener.
3rd and 6 now as we tick toward the end of the third quarter. They'll go to Gibson. Gibson will have the first down and keeps on rolling. Iverson trying to tackle him, but wasn't quite able to do so until he had picked up the first down and more. A gain of about 13 more for Gibson, and we have reached the end of quarter number 3. Maple Grove driving. Our score remains the same, though. Maple Grove 6, Minnetonka 3. The fourth quarter is up next.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Welcome back here to Maple Grove. Crimson leading Minnetonka by a score of 6-3. And on the move, some physical runs by Anthony Gibson spurring the Crimson here on this drive. And they're kind of hoping maybe we're starting to wear this defense down, and how about we just keep on grinding them up and drive it into the end zone. That's what they had to be thinking there at that break.
Yeah, Lombo had our camera caught a quick conversation between Lombo and Gibson, and I think I know what that conversation was about, and it goes something like Lombo says, "We're going to keep coming to you," and Gibson's, "That's fine, Coach." Something like that, because that's the way they're going to do it.
Gibson rips off another 5 or so on that one.
By the same token, we had a quick shot of Greg Clough, and I'm sure he's scheming over there. He may have to dedicate one more guy to the box to take care of Gibson.
Gibson avoids the first tackler here, keeps on motoring, and then brought down inside the 15 to about the 13. Going to be another first down.
Yep, more of the same. More of the same. And as we said, coming out of the first half to start the second half, didn't really feel like Maple Grove was going to change too much. And why would you? Why would you? I mean, you're getting positive yardage, and as you said, they're keeping Tonka's defense on the field, and unless Tonka gets a turnover or something here, it's this is a grind for them.
Fake the handoff, and then Elms is wrapped up immediately by Russ.
Not sure if
Tonka.
I'm not sure if that was a busted play, because it had the look of a kind of a read option on that, Jay, but I'm not sure who he was optioning. It almost looked like more of a busted kind of a play.
Yeah, it was hard to tell if it was kind of the fake wasn't really in sync there. If he was faking that to Buelow, it looked like he might have been, but
right. Yeah.
Elijah Russ making the stop. No gain on the play for Elms. 2nd and 10 at the 13 of Minnetonka.
Too tight with the H-back again.
Elms throwing for the end zone, looking for Engel, and just overshot him. Pretty good coverage by Ben Conan.
And that's been a little bit of the history for Nate. You know, it's usually it comes down a lot of times to a quarterback's footwork. He's just a little bit long tonight. And although he had a beautiful touch pass, I think, to pick up a big first down in that first half. But a lot of times it comes back to the quarterback's feet, Jay.
3rd down and 10 here for Maple Grove. They've been running it effectively enough that you might just say, let's hand it off and go, 2 times to pick up 10, but we'll see.
I think that's what they'll do.
Gibson gets a block from Buelow. Gibson lowers the shoulder and down inside the 5. Going to be short of the first down, but certainly will leave him with a 4th and very manageable, about a yard or so short is all he was.
And they can pick up a first down and not score a touchdown, correct, Jay?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
And right now, just the way they've been able to run this ball, on this drive in particular, I don't think they have much doubt that they can pick this up.
No, they're playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum right now, and they're really crashing that edge really well.
Back to Gibson it goes, and he is going to walk in for the touchdown. Maple Grove running it right at Minnetonka throughout the drive and able to finish it off as Gibson. He has had a nice night in the backfield for Maple Grove.
Yep, and they're staying with that same scenario of running, going left or right, and just basically kind of blocking down in the kick out situation, and really running Minnetonka's edge with success.
Weary on to attempt the extra point, so they will kick for it again, and they missed the first one. This time snaps right there, and the kick is up, and it is good. So with 9:21 to go in the 4th, it is 13-3, and let's look at some of what Gibson has been able to do tonight. The bruiser in the backfield for the Crimson.
Yeah, just a real primer in running hard. That one particular run, I think this is it right here, where he reeled off about 12 or 14 yards and just wouldn't say die, really, wouldn't say quit. No quit in the kid. And again, like I mentioned before, he shows really good ball security too. You can't really underrate that for a running back.
Unofficially 129 yards rushing for Gibson tonight on 20 rushes, and obviously still been playing pretty regularly on his usual defensive spot as well. So 13-3, a big touchdown there for Maple Grove. Juggled by Tolkinen, and then he runs into traffic and is brought down on the spot. A stop for the Crimson by Schmidt. So it'll be Tonka ball at the 25, and just the way the flow of the game has gone, making up 10 points kind of looks like a tall order for them, to be honest.
Really a large order, and this is probably where, you're going to have to, you can't throw the whole game plan out with the bathwater, but you're going to have to change it up a little bit and probably put it up a little bit. And there's still 9 minutes left, but go to the passing game.
It's tipped and intercepted by Vey. Micah Vey squirting down the sideline, avoids a hit, stays on his feet. Oh, he wants the end zone bad. He's going to be marked down inside the 1.
And of course, that's the downside of putting the ball up, right? You get a tip ball like that, and it's tip drill for the D-backs.
Micah Vey does a nice job concentrating on the catch, but then he did a really nice job on this return. He almost went down, stayed on his feet, and boy, he had a great desire to get to the end zone, and he did not wind up short by much.
Not by much. And I thought with his escort there, he might get in too, Jay.
A hit thrown there.
Great job in that. And D-backs work on tip drills all the time, and Vey showing some nice hands there. And
yeah,
nice
Matchett, I think it was, that got the hit. And then it was already a good return, but then he does that. He stops, and you see him really fighting, and he was down just short of the end zone. So Maple Grove will have it at the 1.
Great job of him keeping his balance there. I thought, put his hand down and kept his balance, did a nice job.
Maple Grove's going to have to use a timeout. I don't think they had 11 out there, so they will, before they run a play here, have to burn a timeout. See some of the teams that are in classes other than 6A. You've got Cooper hosting Minneapolis Southwest. Armstrong's now in 5A, and they're the top seed in Section 6. They'll be hosting Monticello. Again, these are Section semifinals. Benilde Holy Angels could be a good one, and Bracca's at home to take on Lake City.
Yeah, Holy Angels did a nice job out at Orono the other night to advance into the next round, I believe. And,
Elms will give it to Gibson, and he sprawls in for the touchdown. Maple Grove opening things up here early in the 4th quarter. Second touchdown for Gibson in a span of 24 seconds after they were able to get the interception.
Big surprise on who got the football there, right, Jay?
Right. Yeah, you got a couple pretty good options too, because Elms is, a good runner, good size quarterback too.
Right. Yep. Yeah, Nate's shown the ability to get in the end zone down there.
Spencer Wary on to attempt the extra point. And it's a low snap, and they're not going to get it away. And ouch, that one might not have felt so good for the holder too. Another look at Gibson.
Yeah, just big on big blocking there, and for pay dirt.
So we'll stay at 19-3. A little too early to say that puts it away for sure, but it kind of has that feel.
Yes, it does, and we'll see. And it's one of those unfortunate things. The quarterback throws the ball, and a tip ball like that. It's not as if he threw it right to the Maple Grove to Vey, but it's tough when you put it up like that. What they really need here, Jay, is a run back. That's what they really could use.
From about the 12, Iverson on the return, and well covered by Maple Grove as they'll stop him short of the 30.
Maple Grove's done a nice job on kick coverage tonight. I thought keeping Minnetonka in that 25 to 30 yard line range and making them go the long way.
See, they're attempting to sink the skipper's ship there, it looks like. And nice creative signs, I like it.
I saw those going up pre-game, and
Ishii takes the handoff there, but will gain a yard, maybe 2 on the play, as Maple Grove again after that first drive, they have been tough to move the ball on.
Yeah, they really have. We'll see. We'll see what Minnetonka does in terms of maybe going to either a little different set, a little different formation, give Maple Grove maybe a little different look. Going to be under center. Kind of a tight trips look here. Bring their tackle over to play tight end. Here we go. A little trade action here with the fullback and the tackle.
Going to go with the handoff to Iverson on the quick sweep to the edge. Nice open field stop for the Crimson.
Yeah, it was a nice.
Getting out there was Jake Johnson.
Jake did a nice job of running that play down because the young man from Tonka has some speed, and he was able to shut that thing down after a couple of yards. This is where, well, 3rd and 4 is makeable. I was going to say this is where an offensive coordinator kind of earns their money.
Gendro's going to hand it off. Tolkinen is stopped after a very minimal gain. And it'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, and Maple Grove was bringing, they were bringing people in every gap that time, Jay, and not really whether Tonka would pass or run. They didn't. They just turning folks loose on that one.
Yeah, it shows you maybe that Minnetonka doesn't have a ton of confidence in their pass game right now either. They will be going for it here on 4th and 3.
Yeah, they kind of have to do this.
Play action. Gendro now throwing it, and it will fall incomplete as he looked to go to Ishii, and Maple Grove will take over on downs as they have really kind of seized control of this game more and more as we've gone on, it feels like here, Joe.
Yeah, Tonka tried to do a little flooding of the zone out there, but the young man's pass was wide, and he didn't hit either one. I was a little surprised that they were under center on that one. I thought actually his pass protection wasn't too bad, but I thought they might go from the gun and give their quarterback a little more vision of the field.
From the 34, toss back to Wegscheid, running hard. And he will pick up about 7 or so on that one. And you see Buffalo has a lead over St. Michael Albertville in late in the 3rd quarter of that one. So that would be a bit of a surprise if they were able to stick with that one. And there's a kind of old rivals, and obviously St. Michael now in the Lake Conference and other sports. Obviously football is a little different thing when we've gone to the district football, but those have been rivals over the years in Wright County Conference and some others. Mississippi 8 after that.
Right, and as we said earlier, Buffalo can score the football. They can score. There's no doubt about it.
Wegscheid takes the handoff here, and he kind of went leaping into the pile of Skipper's defenders, and he'll pick up the 1st down. Wegscheid is not run the ball as much tonight because Gibson's getting a pretty good workload, and now he looks like he's got plenty left in the tank to try and help finish this one off too.
Right, and I think they're gonna give Gibson a much needed rest, a little R&R for Gibson, because if it stays like this, they're going to need him for the obviously Lakeville South, and see a little bit more of him against Lakeville South, I'm sure.
1st and 10 from the 23. It looks like Elms trying to use as much time between plays as he can as he looks at the back judge to start that last count. Here's Wegscheid taking it on the toss, a little spin move there. And down inside the 20, he'll go pick up 3 or 4.
And Cooper's the kind of back that if you don't put a good tackle on Cooper, he'll wriggle away. He's shifty, and he's got a nice little wiggle to his run game, and so you've got to put a good tackle on Cooper.
Nice feeling for an offensive lineman right now, and also their running backs, knowing that they're just going to run it at them. They're going to try and use the clock, and yet still getting 1st downs. That's a great feeling.
It's the best. If you're an O-line guy right now, and everybody knows they're going to probably continue to run the football.
Handoff going up the middle there, and it'll be Jacob Engel on the carry. So a little different wrinkle there as they'll pick up a couple with Engel handling it.
And that was back to just that quick handoff that we talked about earlier, Jay. And of course now the clock is not Minnetonka's friend at all. And tough position to be in. And probably 2 down territory here for Maple Grove. I'm guessing Lombo will go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, they obviously want to get a first down and maybe would like to score one more time, but even if they don't, they've accomplished a lot by burning the clock here.
They really have. Yep, they really have. At 25, 30 seconds a pop.
McMahon taking the end off that time.
Maybe Tonka took a timeout there, Jay.
Blaine has a lead on Woodbury. Another Class 6A game.
That's a little bit of a surprise. Woodbury's touted, I think, to be a really good team this year. Started slow and then got some traction. But as we've talked about, anything can happen in the playoffs. You have a flat night and, you may go home.
Look at some other scores. Games in action here as Lakeville North taking it to Hopkins pretty good. Osseo trailing big on the road. Wayzata, no surprise, putting one on Egan. Forest Lake giving Totino Grace more of a game than I would have anticipated.
I was looking at that too, Jay. Totino only up 14-3 over Forest Lake.
And in the winner of this one, which looks very much like it's going to be Maple Grove, will play Lakeville South next round. Here's a handoff to McMahon, and this time a nice gap opens, and on a 4th and 3, they'll pick it up with ease. So he picks up about 6.
Yeah, ran a little trap play that time, Jay, and opened up for McMahon, and more clock for Maple Grove to work.
Going to be first down goal to go just inside the 10 now. Maple Grove chewing up this clock with a 19-3 lead.
McMahon's good size. He's got real good size. Runs. He's probably a load to tackle.
See Elms again waiting as long as he can to get this one underway. A little toss to Wegscheid, wrapped up, but spins his way down to about the 5 or slightly inside as he was thrown down there by Russ, but he stayed going forward.
Right, and the defender actually threw him forward, which is probably not what Coach Clough is looking for. But
yeah, at some point you kind of just have to get him down any way you can, though, and that's that's the way it worked out.
Exactly. Even if it's a kind of a rodeo rider situation, you got to get him down.
2nd and goal from the 5 now. Maple Grove looking to seal up a playoff victory here tonight and move to 5-4. Elms will hand it off. Engel tripped up after a short gain of maybe a yard or so.
Yeah, and this is usually the type of thing where Lombo will he's not looking to rub it in or anything. He just, it'd be fine with him if they don't, as long as they keep the ball and kind of keep the clock going here. I don't think he's all that interested in scoring again right now. He's not going to tell his team that, but he's not looking to show anybody up here.
Yeah, and Minnetonka obviously not, thinking of using timeouts or anything here either because it's just no point at this time. 3rd down and goal. Hand off here, and McMahon will walk on in for the touchdown for the Crimson. Like you said, they're still going to run plays, and if it happens to open up, they're still going to go in, and they will help to seal it up on that 4-yard run by Aiden McMahon, the sophomore fullback.
Yep, I'm sure that's a real thrill for Aiden, and Lombo will have him for 2 more years, and he'll have Nate Elms. Of course, this year's not over for him yet, but Nate, only a junior as well, and he's got some good underclassmen coming up.
Spencer Wary on, high snap. This time they get it down and the kick is up and it is good. So a minute 17 to go in the ball game. And Maple Grove has really dominated the second half, leading it now 26-3. This was really a pretty even first half, but not the case in the second. Maple Grove's done a nice job closing strong.
Right, and even the beginning of the second half, it looked like Minnetonka. They had that one little series there where it looked like Ishii, trying to get Ishii going again, but then Maple Grove asserted themselves, and namely Gibson in the run game, and the O-line doing their thing, and it was over.
Yeah, it was still 6-3 when this quarter started, but Maple Grove putting 3 touchdowns on the board in a span of about 8 minutes, which, the way this game was going, you didn't think you were probably going to see that from either team.
No, exactly. No, I think we were thinking probably maybe some kind of a teen, a 17-10 or 14-10 or somewhere in that neighborhood.
Kick coming down to the 15 for Iverson. And gets a little burst there before he's shoved out of bounds. And Minnetonka will have pretty good field position, but obviously now we're down to just deciding the final score here. 1:11 to go as you look at what Maple Grove's been able to do tonight defensively. Again, the very first drive, Minnetonka moved the ball very nicely, but since then they have found it very difficult. Gendro that time chased around and they were able to stack up Tolkinen. Pass here deflected over the middle, and Micah Vey with the interception there, and he returns it all the way to the 1-yard line for Maple Grove as we're back to action here. Tolkinen takes the handoff, jumping over a tackler, but down he goes at right near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that tip pass pick by Micah Vey, I think that was maybe the backbreaker right there, Jay. I think that took a lot out of Minnetonka because they still had a chance, and they were throwing on first down, and that did them in.
Sam Hamshari, the quarterback now, giving it off. Tolkinen, wow, he was not wanting to go down easily there, and he will pick up a first down. There you see Eastview leading Edina. That one would be a slight upset perhaps as well.
Edina's been, we were talking about Maple Grove has been in a lot of close games as Minnetonka. Edina has been in a number of close games this year as well. It's been that kind of a year. And I think in 6A, as we talked, there's 6 or 7 teams with a legitimate shot at the Prep Bowl.
Tolkinen takes a handoff again. He is stacked up for a gain of 1, and that is going to do it for our game as the clock ticks down to 0, and a strong close here for Maple Grove as the fourth quarter was big for them. They outscored Tonka 20-0 in the period and will pick up their 5th victory of the season. Well, Minnetonka, very uncharacteristic, and going to end up winless for the 2019 campaign. So they played hard. They played, pretty well in the first half, but Maple Grove just kind of wore them down, I think. And, like you said, that key turnover, but they also were able to kind of pound the ball at them a little bit more in the second half and run them down.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a case of Maple Grove asserting that run game, and Gibson just really a beast really tonight, and Minnetonka didn't have an answer for him, and even when they did, he was breaking tackles and wreaking havoc with the ball in his hands.
Maple Grove next round certainly going to have an opponent that's a strong one. Lakeville South has had a good season, a good run last year, obviously too. That last year was sort of considered a surprise, but this year they've been solid. 1 loss this year, but handed Lakeville North a defeat, which obviously for them is enormous.
Right, big win. Yeah, big win for them, and So we've got Maple Grove and obviously a run-heavy situation, and then Lakeville South with their T formation football team, and they don't mind running the ball either. And so that shapes up to be a good battle. Maple Grove, I think Maple Grove get a nice little bounce out of this game, and able to win one more on their home field.
All right, let's go to Allie now with a couple of happy Crimson players.
Yeah, guys, we got two guys on both sides of the ball. We're going to start with Micah Vahey. The game-changing interception. You get that pick, you get it to the 1 yard line. Oh, you were so close. It did set up a touchdown, but take us through that pick.
Man, it was kind of funny how it happened because my safety and my outside linebacker kind of hit it a little bit, and I saw advantage. I could take it, and then I tried to get the touchdown, but someone was bigger than me, But it's what it is. We scored a touchdown on that, and anything to make the team better. That's all I can say.
Tonka scored on their first possession of the game, and then you guys just stuck your defense to them. What was it about your defense that was so successful tonight?
The thing about defense is we never give up, man. No matter what, defense wins games, man. So anytime our defense can go out there and help the offense out, we're ready. Anytime.
Your defense did win it for you tonight with a little help with Gibson here next to you, but probably taking on Lakeville South next. What are your thoughts as you take on that tough team in the second round?
Man, film and tendencies. Watch all their tendencies at all times, man. And then we go perfect it on the practice field, and when we see them on the game field, do what we got to do.
Congrats on a great performance tonight. We're going to turn it over to the offensive end of the ball with Anthony Gibson here. Anthony, throughout the season, we haven't seen you run the ball that much, and then tonight it was the Gibson show. What was that responsibility like, taking all of these offensive carries and helping your team to this victory?
At first it felt a little like a lot of pressure, but I guess it's just something I got to do. So I'll do whatever it takes to help my team win, whether it's play every possession, every snap. I'll do anything to help my team win for sure.
So the first half of the game, a lot of defense, right? We get 6-3 at halftime, and then the second half, you guys broke it open on offense. What changed between halves?
We just all kept fighting. Like, let's just say we all got 5 yards or something, 5-yard carry or whatever. We all got hyped. We all got excited because in the first half, we weren't really energized or anything. So in the second half, we really brought the energy for sure.
Yeah, you could see that shift in energy. You guys are headed to the second round of playoffs. What do you take from this win tonight that's going to help propel you throughout the playoffs and into state?
Wait, I'm sorry, say that again?
That's okay. What are you going to take from this win tonight that's going to propel you in this second round and hopefully get you guys to the state tournament?
Keep playing hard, keep bringing the energy, keep fighting for sure.
Congrats, you did really great tonight.
Thank you.
Yep,
Thank you.
Guys.
Thanks, Allie, and congratulations to the Crimson on a nice victory. I think not only you're happy with the win, but you're happy with the way that you kind of got better and better throughout the game and really put it away in that fourth quarter, Joe.
Yeah, they really did, and I think you got to give Lombo some credit too. By he knows his players, and he brings Gibson over from as we said, Gibson was a running back in his younger days, and as Lombo said, you got to put your best people on the field this time of year, and he picks Gibson up and puts him in the backfield, and look what he did.
So a nice performance by the Crimson on both sides of the ball. They win it 26-3 here tonight, and they will advance on to take on Lakeville South in round number 2. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's game. For Joe Basil, Allie Mosley, and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Good night from Maple Grove.